It was a brief romance, but one I'm very grateful for. Just 1 year spent with Atletico Madrid, but what a year we had. A domestic double, winning La Liga, overcoming a 13-point deficit to be crowned champions in my first season at the Metropolitano, and winning the Copa del Rey to give me another domestic double. 2 in a row, one with Roma and now one in Spain. But in Europe, once again, it was a failure. With Roma, we failed to reach the Champions League final in both our seasons, and this year with Atletico, we should have done it, but I bottled it. Our Champions League semi-final exit to Inter Milan was inexcusable, and despite the success and the silverware in Spain, come the end of the season, I thought it might possibly be time to move on and look for a new challenge. So I went through the job opening screen and there were a few that did catch my eye. I'll be the first to admit it. I went through a few different days, found a few different jobs at different countries as well. But unfortunately, the problem I had was that the only countries that were available were Spain, France and Germany. None in Italy, where we'd just been, and no possible return to England either. But out of the job opportunities that were available for me, one really did catch my eye, and that was Bayer Leverkusen of Germany. Now, last season, Bayer Leverkusen finished in third place in the Bundesliga to qualify for the Champions League, runners-up in the DFB Pokal as well. But after an absolutely catastrophic Champions League campaign, they were knocked out in the group stages, finishing in third place, but did go all the way to win the Europa League. And it reminded me of my time with Sheffield United. We won the Europa League in my final season with the Blades. Bayer Leverkusen have just been crowned Europa League winners. They might have reached a cup final in Germany last season, but failed to overcome RB Leipzig. And after finishing in the top 4 in the Bundesliga, yet still yet to win their first Bundesliga title in many, many years, I thought this would be a really fun challenge. Bayer Leverkusen offered me the job, and I said, let's do it, boys. I'm ready for my next challenge. So what's going on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 163. And yes, today we are returning with a brand new season of Career Mode as Season 8. Season 8! Season 8! Yes, it's Season 8 gets underway today. My 8th season of Career Mode is starting this morning. When was the last time I did 8 bloody seasons of Career Mode? Well, today we begin Season 8 and I simply can't wait with my 4th team in Career Mode, and this should be a heck of a challenge. Bayer Leverkusen, Europa League winners, DFB Pokal runners-up last year, but also third place in the Bundesliga, haven't won the Bundesliga title in well over a decade now. My job with Leverkusen is to win them the title and go one step further in the cup and win them the DFB Pokal as well. Winning them the Champions League, I can't see that happening in my first season, but there's less expectation on my shoulders here at Bayer Leverkusen. There was so much pressure on me at Atletico Madrid. To win the treble in my first season, that was always going to be an almost impossible task. With Leverkusen, I've got more time to build things, and that's why I'm so excited to join up here at the Bayarena with a very fun and interesting team, but one that also needs a lot of change and a big rebuild as well, because as you'll see, there are loads of players that are coming towards the end of their final years in professional football. Lots of aging senior pros here, but also tons of players with the deals that come the end of the year. Let's count them together in Portuguese. Dois, tres, quatro, cinco, seis, sete, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 players have their contracts up come the end of the year. That's 18 in English. So 18 players have their contracts up come the end of our first season with Bayer Leverkusen. And they're not just the aging players as well. Some of them are senior players that have got a big role to play in the first team right from the get-go in our first season, including Andrei Lunin, our number 1 from Ukraine, and of course the captain of Bayer Leverkusen, Kai Havertz, one of the best players players in world football at 92 overall. So tons of change needs to happen with this Bayer Leverkusen side before we become dominant. And again, the one thing that really drew me to this side is that when I met the Bayer Leverkusen board and I said, how much time have I got? They said, how long's a piece of string? They said that in German, but I don't know what that is in German. But basically, I've got time to work with this Bayer Leverkusen side, all right? They're giving me around £65 million in our budget to start off with. But with wage budget operation, we're more likely to be looking at around £77 million. So, yeah, very happy with the money they've given me in the first season. The squad I've inherited is very good as well, although, of course, it does need a lot of change due to the amount of aging players here. And again, 18 players out of contract as well. But also the objectives in my first season, that is what I'm really happy about as well. We need to win the DFB Pokal. So go one step further than Leverkusen did last season, which has reached a final. So they've got to win the cup. And they've brought in the cup specialist, Docs, who's won 3 straight domestic cups with Roma in the Serie A, with 2 Coppa Italia cup winners medals, and also, of course, the Copa del Rey I won last season with Atletico Madrid as well. So they've brought in the cup specialist to win them the cup in our first season. But in the Bundesliga, we don't need to dethrone Bayern in our first season. We've just got to finish in the Champions League place in the top 4. So we don't have to be crowned champions of the Bundesliga in our first season. A top 4 place is good enough for Bayer Leverkusen. And the Champions League as well, unlike with Atletico Madrid, we don't need to win that in our first season. So relief. Everyone knows I can't win in the Champions League, but it is worth pointing out we do need to reach the final. A feat I've never achieved before. I've never reached a Champions League final in all my years in professional football management. So that is the toughest objective of the 3. So if we're going to do that, I need my boys with me. I said to the Leverkusen board, I said, I know you want me to build that German core like I did with a British core with the Blaze, the Italian core with Roma, and the Spanish core with Atletico. But I said, if I'm going to reach the Champions League final for the first time in my managerial career, I need my boys with me, baby. I need my lads to come with me to Bayer Leverkusen. First signing, 48.5 million plus Belotti the Italian. Welcome to the Bayarena. The shocker, he's here at Bayer Leverkusen, my first signing, and whilst he might be 30 years old now, he's a 5-time Golden Boot winner, baby. He scored 40 goals in a season with the Blaze and 39 in one with Roma. Last season, admittedly, failed to reach 30 in his last 5 seasons. It was his lowest goal scoring season in his past 5 campaigns. But listen, even at the ripe old age of 30 years old, the shocker will always bang in the goals. And if we're to reach the Champions League final, that's what I need. A reliable goal scorer. Look no further than Ivan Toney. The shocker is in. It's a lot of money to spend on a 30-year-old, but listen, we've seen what this guy is capable of across 3 different countries for 3 different clubs. I've got total faith in Ivan Toney, even at 30 years old. So, yeah, Belotti goes to Atletico Madrid in a part exchange deal as the shocker is in. And I decided to change my appearance as well after I met Ivan Toney. He said, Gaffer, when you join a new club, normally you change your outfit and try out a different hairstyle. Why are you still wearing that crappy little black t-shirt from Primark, mate? So I thought, yeah, you're right, man. I hear him Bayer Leverkusen. It's all business, baby. Let's do it. Let's get the suit back on with the club emblem on the old chest as well. And I went back to the haircut I had with my Sheffield United days as well, going for a Sheffield United throwback with that old hairstyle there. It's not the neatest, but I can't really find one I like in this year's game, unfortunately. The hairstyles in FIFA really are pretty shocking, aren't they? But still, we also sold a couple of players there as well, as Boateng was sold to one of our division rivals, Bayern Munich, for £30 million, as we started to try and push some fringe players out the door. And as we'd spent the money on Ivan Toney, we still had a little bit of money left over, as we inherited around a £75 million budget to start the season off. And I feel like we're going to need a new centre-back with this Bayer Leverkusen side, because if we do play 3 at the back, which is their system in the game, we'll need some good athletic centre-halves, like we saw with Atletico Madrid, that have got pace as well. And I played against this guy guy in the World Cup managing England against Brazil. It's Leandro Vilela Coelho de Lima. Not sure how you pronounce that, so we'll just call him Leandro. But Leandro is 23 years old, 83 rated. He came off the bench in my game with England, and I must say, this guy looks the real deal. He's playing for Brighton. He looked to be set to join Tottenham Hotspur, but I hijacked the deal at the 11th hour on the clock. Jose Mourinho was fuming as I agreed a £41 million deal with the Seagulls and signed the Brazilian on a 5-year contract on £70,000 a week. And it might look as a bit of an overspend, 13 million over the valuation, plus swapping a player as well. But this kid has got some serious stats, and you might have noticed it on his player biography section as well. He's 6'6". He's a bloody giant, Leandro. 6'6" with 96 jumping, 90 strength, 88 sprint speed. This guy, oh my word, he's an absolute man mountain. Leandro's in high work rate as well. Are you Leo Gutierrez in disguise? Oh, he looks absolutely fantastic. Defensively, really solid. And again, physically, that's what we're looking for with this Bayer Leverkusen side. You saw the Atletico Madrid last season with Aymeric Laporta when we started the season off with him. He was just too bloody slow. Too slow. This guy's got 85 pace though, out of John Stones and Fernando Solero here, both in their 30s, and Jorge Mera is 29 as well. We need to get younger and more athletic with this Bayer Leverkusen side. So yeah, Leandro is in. It's a lot of money to spend, but listen, this guy's a bloody mountain at 6'6". I might actually be able to score a corner with his height as well for the first time in about 5 seasons. But yeah, I'm very excited about the future of this kid. The Brazilian boy looks absolutely sublime. And again, with the pace and the height and the strength, there's very little negative to this young Brazilian. But we were still making some sales here as well, as we tried to sell our Finnish striker, sorry. I can never pronounce the guy's name. Is it Pohanpalo? I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but anyway, he's on his way out the door. And also got a bit here for Wesley as well. Now, this is an interesting one. Wesley, I've always wanted to try him out in FIFA because he's strong, he's tall, and he's quick as well. But he's now 29 years old in the game, and after we agreed a deal of £58 million with Valencia, as Bayer Leverkusen only play with one man up top, I don't think Wesley will be too happy sitting on the bench for Ivan Toney. So I think it'll be mutually beneficial for both parties, for Wesley to go, us to get a big transfer fee for him, and also see Wesley playing first team football elsewhere. So he's on his way to the Mestalla at Valencia for £58 million. Ivan Toney, even at 30 years old, is going to be our out and out sole striker this season. So I'm okay selling Wesley, bringing in the cash and looking to reinvest in other areas. But as you can see here, there were so many emails coming here. I just honestly, I couldn't keep up to date at this point. There were so many transfers happening as we were selling so many players in the first few weeks here by Leverkusen, because again, we've got so many players that are on the transfer list and out of contract come the end of the season. So the quicker we sold them to reinvest the cash elsewhere, the better. But the problem with that was there were so many emails and so many transfer offers that were currently pending. I couldn't keep up to date with how much money we had, how many players we still had, and at one point I was thinking, at this point we might end up selling like half our squad, and I'll turn up to training and it's just Ivan Toney, Kai Havertz and a few kids that are still here. It was ridiculous. But regardless, after a few big sales there, we had some money to sign a few more players alongside Ivan Toney. And again, with Bayer Leverkusen, we do want to construct a German core here at the Bayarena, and that means bringing in some good young German talent. And I found this guy playing for Union Berlin right now. His name is Ty. He's a 20-year-old goalkeeper, and Leverkusen, when I joined, had like 6 goalkeepers assigned to their squad. We don't need that many. So I said to Union Berlin, do you want Szczesny, the Polish goalkeeper? Because you can have him for free if you soften the transfer fee for this young kid, because this guy could well be Manuel Neuer's region. I think he might be, because Neuer has retired, but this guy looks insane. He's only 20 years old, yet he's already 79 rated with the exciting prospect tag, and he bloody well is exciting as well, with 77 kicking, 83 reflexes and 85 diving already at just 20 years old. With dynamic potential and training, he could definitely get into the 90s, and for 17.5 mil and an aging Szczesny is also out of contract contract as well. I have to say, I think we've just fleeced Union Berlin here. This kid looks the real deal, and perhaps the regen of Manuel Neuer as well. Lunin will continue to start as our number one, but this guy learning under the Ukrainians' wing, I gotta say, the future of the Bayer Leverkusen goalkeeper position is looking very solid and secure, and pardon the pun, but in safe hands as well. It was a pun which I almost messed up. Terrible. But regardless, we had a few more sales here. Rojas got sold. One of our goalkeepers went there as a daily Sinkgraven. Also went to Getafe for £7 million. And also Wesley agreed to leave and join Valencia and go to Mestalla for £58 million as well. So 3 big sales there for Rojas, Sinkgraven, and also Wesley as well. And following those sales, we had a bid here for Fernando Solera. And I found this one quite interesting, but Roma put in a bid for him of £24.5 million. Now 30 years old, 84 rated. I'm happy to sell him and bring in a younger centre half, but funnily enough, when we first joined Roma, we sold Fernando Solera when we first joined up at the Stadio Olimpico. We've done the same here at Bayer Leverkusen. As soon as Fernando Solera saw me rock up here in the Bayarena, he thought, I might as well pack my bags, I'm off. He just knows that I don't want him. I sold him as soon as I joined Roma, and I sold him as soon as I joined Bayer Leverkusen as well. I guarantee if I end up moving on next year, and he's playing for Man United or whatever, and I'm at Old Trafford, he'll start packing the bags as soon as he sees the announcements on Sky Sports News that I'm the new man in Old Trafford. He just knows as soon as I arrive at the club, he's getting sold. So Solero is having a shock return to one of my former sides and going back to the Stadio Olimpico at Roma. And speaking of Man United, they're going to sign Joaquin Correa for £27.5 million. As Solero is off to Rome for £27.5 million himself, as Nicolau goes to Aston Villa for £8 million as well. So loads of sales in today's episode. The rebuild by Leverkusen has officially begun. This is going to be more of a longer project than our time at Atletico Madrid. I feel confident of that. We've got the time, we've got some decent talent, and now we've got a fuck ton of cash to play with the transfer window still in full swing. £86 million in our budget, and in the next episode, let's go mental and bring in a load of new signings. But that was today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy today's episode, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for next episode very soon, where the rebuild begins with several new signings at the Bayarena. Oh, it's fantastic. I'll see you for it very soon.